Welcome everybody, and I'm Nitheezkant, and this is our presentation and demonstration for our team's project, Security System for Cardiac Arrest and Other Emergencies in Washroom. So let us have a look at it. So what is the problem that we are addressing? So when elderly people and recovering patients have to use the washroom, they will have to protect their privacy, so they will have to use the lock. But in case they face life-threatening emergencies inside the washroom, such as heart attack, there are two main problems associated with it. So the first thing is nobody notices it. So the caretakers take time to know that they have not come out for a long time, and then they notice it. So that takes the so that there is that problem. And the second problem is that even after they notice it, there is a time barrier to break the lock and then enter the washroom. So these both are very severe problems, and we will be addressing that through a simple solution in our project. So this is our solution to the problem. So first thing is when they lock. This is a circuit that will be attached to the lock. So when they lock, they will have to press a button, and there will be like three buttons. Let's say 4 minutes, 10 minutes, and 15 minutes. For demonstration, we have shown the 10-minute lock. So there will be the button. When they press the button, the door will get locked, and the timer of 10 minutes will start running. And so for 10 minutes, the door will be locked. As soon as the 10-minute timer is over, after 10 minutes, there will be buzzer and lighting systems inside the washroom which will turn on, and the user will get 30-second time to extend the lock and provide an assurance that they are still there safely, and there is nothing wrong. So they will so there will be these buttons installed all over the washroom at convenient locations, let us say next to the toilet sink, next to the shower, etc. So they can press this button to provide the assurance that nothing has happened. In case they press the button, then they'll get a 5-minute extension for the lock, and after 5 minutes, again the same process will repeat. The alarm will again go off. They can keep pressing until they want to be over with it. But in case they fail to press between in the 30 seconds, this means that there is a potential emergency, and at this case, when there is a potential emergency, the lock will be unlocked soon, and after the lock has been unlocked, there will be a notification to the caretakers through alarm or light. Here we have shown it through light, that there is an emergency, please look into it. Anyways, the door, the latch is unlocked, so they can check it easily. So this is the solution that we have done, and we have implemented the solution completely through digital and analog circuit, and we have not used microcontrollers to do this work. So you can check the so we will now go through the circuit diagram, and we'll understand the circuit right from the first time when the button is pressed, that is the door is locked, till the lock has been unlocked. So till that we will be looking at the circuit diagram, and after that we will be going to the demonstration of all the three cases that we shown. So the third case is that before the time elapses, they want to just unlock it themselves. So there will be the master unlock button which they can press and unlock the door. So these are the three things, and we will be showing the demonstration and the circuit diagram. So let's first see the circuit. So let us look at the circuit schematic right now. So there are 555 timers here to generate the 1 Hz pulse throughout the circuit, and there are 3 counters that are being used to count for 30 seconds, 5 seconds, and 10 minutes. These are the 3 countings that we need, and the counters will keep counting all the time. So we need to so every time we want to read output from a counter, we need to first reset it by the LD bar, and also we need to enable the output. So to enable the output, so all the outputs of the counters are being sent to an AND gate, where we will be having another input as the output enable. So only if the output enable is on, like you can see these AND gates here. So only if the output enables are on, only then we should be reading the counter's output, or else the counter's output will be ignored. So you can so you can see this is the circuit here. So initially we will be pressing this VCC, and so this will send a small VCC here, and it will trigger the load bar, and this counting 10 minutes will start. Regarding the output enable, K is coming from here, which is 0 at the starting. J will come from here, which is 1. So J is 1 and K is 0. Q will be 1 and Q bar will be 0. So Q bar goes 0 and this Q bar not becomes 1. So output has been enabled. We are reading the output of this counter. Okay. So when the output of the counter goes 1, so it will go 1. So it will go 1. Like initially it will go 1 and then it will eventually drop to 0, because it will give 1 only for 1 clock pulse. Okay, so for 1 second it will give 1. So when this goes 1, here this point will be 1. So this comes back here. J is now 0, K is 1. So Q will become 0, Q bar will become 1, and this Q bar which is now will become 0. So the output will get disabled. So since 10 minutes has elapsed, we no longer need to keep reading this output, so the output has been disabled. So this point now, so now let's go back to the time when this gave you 1. When this gave 1, it goes here through the OR gate and it activates the 30-second counter by triggering the LD bar. So once the LD bar is triggered here, it activates the 30-second counter, and the flip-flop here that is enabling the output, you can see what happens to that also. So initially, like at the starting, like when they just press this to lock, so this is basically the lock. So when they had initially pressed this to lock, you can see this goes here, and the J will become so it goes through here and the J becomes 1, and K, as you can see, is 0. So J is 1, K is 0, Q will be 1 and Q bar will be 0, and this output was disabled. So initially we were not waiting for the 30-second counters output. We were only waiting for the 10-minute counters. So now since this has triggered a 1, when after 10 minutes has elapsed, when this triggers a 1, you can see here, it goes here and makes the K 1. So J is 0, K is 1. When J is 0 and K is 1, Q will be 0 and Q bar will be 1. So the output has been enabled. We will be waiting for the 30-second counter's output. So so if 30-second counter goes high, that means there is an emergency and we need to open the lock. So when 30-second counter goes high, it will come here, and this flip-flop is the final buffer before opening the lock. So K has been set to 0 here, and J goes high, Q goes high, Q will become 1, so then it will unlock. So there is a relay which converts the 5-volt digital circuit to the 12-volt analog circuit. So from 5 it goes to 12-volt, and since we sent a 1 here, 1 means it's an unlock, so the door will unlock. So this happens when the 30-second counter gives the pulse. So let us imagine now 10 minutes has elapsed and it has gone to 30 seconds. 30 seconds has started counting, but meanwhile the user has pressed the extend option. So if the extend option has been pressed, you can see K has been set to 0. K is currently 0 when extend is being pressed. So extend is being pressed, J becomes 1. So J is 1, K is 0, Q becomes 1. So Q becomes 1, Q bar becomes 0. So Q bar becomes 0 here, and so the output has been disabled. So basically now we no longer care about this 30 seconds output. So when the 30 second elapses, it won't open. Rather, what should happen when extend is being pressed is the 5-minute extension timer should turn on. So when this extend has been pressed, as you can see, when the extend is pressed here, there is a node coming from here that goes all the way here, and it triggers the LD bar here, and the 5-minute counter starts. One of them trigger the LD bar, and also it triggers the output enable. So initially when I'm telling, when the first time everything was locked, when everything was locked at the first time, when this was pressed, this J was set to 0, K becomes 1, so Q has become 1. So Q has become 0. J is set to 0, K has become 1, so Q was set to 0. So Q was set to 0, this output was disabled. So we were not caring about what was happening in the 5-minute counter. But now, since they have pressed the extend, J becomes 1, K is 0, because you can see here there's nothing here. So J is 1, so Q is now 1, and we are actively waiting for the output here. Okay, so we are waiting for the output. When the 5-minute counter gives the output, okay, 1, when the 5-minute counter gives the 1 for 1 clock pulse, it will go back here, and it will activate. So it will activate the 30-second counter by triggering the LD bar. So it triggers the LD bar here, and also it should trigger the output enable for it. Like the output will be basically enabled back for the 30-second counter. So that's what is happening here. Yeah. So this is the explanation for the circuit. And the last thing that we have to see is the master open. So at any time between all this, if the person is just done and he wants to open it manually, he can always press this master open. At master open, this becomes 1, the K is always 0, so J is now being set to 1, and Q will become 1, and it will unlock it. So this is how the locking and unlocking works. Initially to lock it, when you press here, you can see that it will go back here and it will put it to 0, so then it will be locked. So this is how this circuit works. Yeah, so now let us see the demonstration. This is the video demonstration for emergency open. The voltage source. Can we lock? So we have locked, and for demonstration purposes, here instead of using a 1 Hz pulse, that will be for 10 minutes and a 5-minute extension and also a 30-second alarm, we will be using a 10 Hz pulse, that is making all of this 10 times as faster, so that we can easily demonstrate it in a short time. So we are using a 10 Hz pulse, and the 10 minute will become 1 minute, and 5 minutes will become 30 seconds, and the extension of 30 seconds will just become 3 seconds. Everything is divided by 10. Okay, so now we have 10 seconds left, and this time we are not going to extend. So as soon as that goes 0, we will have an extend alert for 3 seconds. After that, it will open. So we have an extend alert, and now it will open. Yeah, it has opened. This is the video demonstration for extending the lock. Can we please lock it? Okay, so we have locked it. We'll be fast forwarding through it. Okay, so now we have around 10 seconds left, and this time we'll be extending it within the 3-second window. Get ready. Okay, extend. Okay, leave. Yes. So now we have extended. So now we can wait for the next 30 seconds, after which in 3 seconds, basically in 33 seconds, it will open. So let's wait. Okay, so 33 seconds it has to open. We are waiting. This is the video demonstration for normally opening the lock. Can we please on the voltage source? So now let's lock. So now let's assume before the time is elapsing, we want to unlock the toilet. So can we unlock? Okay, so now we have unlocked. Thank you.